What's up, you guys? It's your girl Sandra. Welcome back to Sandra Said What. Today I have a story time for you, which is basically crazy. Tell me why I went to the emergency room and got no care, basically, practically next to no care, only to be charged $17,000 for the visit. Let's get into it. Thank you guys so much. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share your experience on this video. If you're a new subscriber here, join our clan, and welcome back to my day ones. Okay, so let's get into it. I wanted to talk about my experience, my recent experience at an ER, and I just wanted to take that opportunity to highlight the inequities, the inequalities of the experience to healthcare for different people and throughout the different states. So I had an emergency. I went to the ER. What happened was, and I also want to talk about how black people are, their pain symptoms are really ignored. I have been seeing this on social media. It is not uncommon. I have had my own fair share of experience as a healthcare provider and seeing how white providers care for black people, and so I wanted to also touch on that. Okay, so I had an emergency. It is a female issue that I had where I was having a lot of pain. It was intolerable. To know me is to know that I do not take painkillers. I do not like to take drugs. Medications are drugs. They are chemicals, and they alter certain things in your body to give you different effects. And me personally, I grew up in Haitian culture. Not just that, it's just for me personally, I'm not anti-taking prescriptions or anything like that. I am a healthcare provider. To say that would be extremely irresponsible. But I say for me personally, even when I have my period, I have extreme pain, and usually I do not take painkillers. And I have noticed in recent times when I have my period, I make some ginger tea with lime and I drink it warm, and my pain basically subsides. And I do not, again, like taking painkillers. So, but this pain was so intolerable, I actually took a painkiller for it, and nothing worked. And because I have a personal diagnosis that I do not feel like sharing at this time, and I've had it for the past 3 years, and I've not had any issues with it. Because of that pain that I've had because of this issue, I felt something has definitely changed, because if I've had something for a few years and I've not had any problems at all, and all of a sudden I have this sudden extreme intolerable pain to where I had to take a painkiller which didn't even work, something is different. So I call my OB to make an emergency same-day appointment, right? So I go there to the OB, and I'm like, I literally could not even stand up straight. I could not walk. I was crying. This is how much in pain I was. And I am, again, a person that has extremely high pain tolerance. So for me to be in that condition, something was extremely wrong. So I make the same day appointment, emergency appointment, and I go to the OB. And I'm talking to the provider. I'm like, okay, so this is my condition, and I've been asymptomatic for the longest. I've not had any pain, I've not had anything, and I wake up one day and it's just like that. And I was trying to manage it at home for the past 3 days, but nothing's worked. I even took a pill, it didn't work. Nothing seems to be relieving my pain, and I feel like from physically I could feel a change in my body. So I'm like, something is wrong, something has changed, and we need to get to the root of it. So I'm explaining to him, and he's like, oh yeah, it could be that this is what's happening, that's what's happening, blah 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 blah, that's probably the cause of the change. So I'm like, okay, well, what do we do, one, about this pain that I'm having, and two, how do we confirm that this is what's happening? Basically, this was my examination. I had to, one, insist on an examination, and where he literally just touched the area, and I was extremely guarded. Guarding is when, if I'm performing, I'm examining a patient, for example, I'm touching your belly, and you're like, they're making moves that just because, it's painful, you're protecting yourself. That is called guarding. I was guarding so hard, like I was literally physically holding the man's hand back, because anything hurt so bad. Any slight touch, I was in extreme excruciating pain. So I'm guarding, and this man basically could be like, well, I think that's what's happening, so we're just gonna send you home. Not even saying, well, if let's, you know, conduct this test to find out if this is what's happening. Two, since you're in pain, this is your plan for pain management. This man basically sent me home in the same condition that I came in. And the reason why I came in is because my pain was so intolerable to the point where I could not even go to work, to the point where I felt like I had to take painkillers despite me not being a big fan of that. He sent me home literally in the same condition. And it was mind-blowing to hear black women specifically complain about how their pain are ignored in the hospitals. How, you know, in pain, the dangerous thing about pain is a symptom, which means that if you have pain, something is happening. Pain is indicative that something could possibly be wrong. So if I'm telling you I am in pain and you don't go to examine me, you don't go to investigate to find out where the pain is coming from, which could potentially be fatal, then you are literally leaving me to die. You are not addressing an issue that I'm having. You are not performing any type of intervention, and likely by the time you do perform an intervention, it's too late. And that's why a lot of black people end up dying in hospitals. That's part of the reason, right? So for me as a healthcare provider, to experience that, it was very disheartening, and it is very scary to have that first-hand account, first-hand experience. So this man is sending me home without examining me, without addressing my pain, nothing. And the reason why I came in was to have my pain addressed so I could be functional again. So I had to insist on doing specific tests. It's like, well, you don't have to do that. I think this is what's happening. How do I know that this is what's happening? You think that's what's happening. You're supposed to be an expert in your field, and I trust your expertise. You're supposed to guide me. The least you could do is address my pain and have me follow up with the necessary references, right? And I got nothing. I got jack shit. So he's ready to send me home, and I'm insisting, okay, we need to do something. And finally we agreed, you know, let's conduct this test. And they're examining me. I literally could not even be still for the exams because I was in such extreme pain, to the point where he said, well, your only other choice is going to the ER. First of all, the problem starts here. Not only you not addressing my pain, me having to the ER, which is crazy that I ended up being charged $17,000 for, did not have to even get there if you had prescribed me something for pain management, right? So I had to go to the ER because I came in and I literally got nothing. Oh, I think this is what's happening with your condition, so yeah, just go home. Insert crickets here. You send me home. So I would, because I was still in pain, because my condition was not even addressed, because my issue was not resolved, I ended up having to go to the ER. So I told them, okay, I think that's what I'm going to have to do, to go to the ER because something's wrong. And again, I keep repeating something's wrong, because for me, something was very different. And this was not my normal. So I told whoever at the front desk, okay, since he says the next best thing is to go to the ER, I'm going to go to the ER. So they insisted that I go to the specific hospital. So I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to go to the hospital that's close to my house. That way, you know, I finish and I just go home. And they're like, no, he's affiliated with this particular hospital. You have to go to this hospital. Well, that's weird.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Okay, whatever. I needed to see someone. I needed to at least have my pain addressed. Sure, I'm gonna go. I go to the hospital. End up spending literally the entire day there. Mind you, I left my house at 9 o'clock for that appointment. From the emergency OB appointment to the hospital to my house, I did not get home till like 8 o'clock at night. I literally spent a whole day at that hospital. So I go to the hospital, and their setup is different, and it took me a while to realize, but apparently they do not put patients in individual rooms at that emergency department. So it took me a while to realize, because I'm sitting here, they call me, I explain my issue, I'm having extreme pain, I'm literally crying to the NP, that, you know, my pain is excruciating, I can't walk, I can't stand, like I can't go to work, I need something. And when pain is in the healthcare field, pain is subjective. What that means is pain is whatever that patient tells you that it is, right? So if a patient tells you that and they rate it from like 0 to 10, 0 meaning no pain and 10 having like the most excruciating pain. And one term they like to use is the worst pain you've ever felt in your life, which for me, I feel like it doesn't work, and I'll tell you why. So I'm telling them I'm in pain, this is my condition, so of course they get my vitals, my blood pressure and everything like that to send me back in the waiting area with all these other people during COVID, which is not six. So okay, I am sitting there in the area in the waiting room, and you know, they're calling me intermittently, but each time I'm done with whatever they call me for, they send me right back. So that's when I'm realizing, wait, they don't have like rooms. So this is basically a big old room. So each patient is not in their individual room, so they're doing what they need to do. It's kind of like, you know, examining you, whatever someone would come into your room to do, they call you, they do it, and they send you back. That's what it is. So they asked me for my pain level, and again, pain number 10, they like to ask, you know, the worst pain you ever felt in your life. For me, that was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. But I still said my pain was a 7 because I'm the person that thinks no matter how bad this is, it could always be worse. If I lost a limb, I'm sure my pain would be a lot worse. If someone is completely burned, had 3rd-degree burns, I'm sure the pain would be worse. So I'm that type of person, even if it's bad and it's excruciating, I still feel like I can tolerate it. But this one I couldn't, even though I could not manage this one, I still would not rate it a 10 because I feel like things could always be worse, right? So, okay, they're examining me. Finally, it's like the day's going by, and I'm waiting, and I'm still not getting answers. I'm still not getting any pain management at all. So I spent the whole day in the hospital literally in pain. And there literally were other patients that were in so much pain that this patient was rolling on the floor and even went in the bathroom to lie down on the bathroom floor. And that patient was still not, their pain was still not addressed. It was like the most horrible thing. And it so happens, I noticed like literally all of these patients in this hospital are black. So I'm like, am I like in a black area which predominantly black people live? So that would make sense, right? The more black people live somewhere, most likely they're gonna go to the closest hospital to them. So okay, that's whatever. But to me, it was just like, why did he choose to send me to this specific hospital? So I go to this hospital and I'm waiting, spending the whole day, and I'm still in pain and I can't go home. So finally, they haven't even done a scan for me. They literally had to just do a CT scan for me. And I came in when I spoke to the NP, which is the nurse practitioner, and told her my exact issue. And I told her, with this issue, I've never had pain, but now I'm having excruciating pain, and I feel like something has changed and something's wrong. So I've already told her that, right? They need to do a scan, find out if something has changed from my previous scans to now. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm not being called. So I keep going, you know, outside to try to speak to someone. Nothing's happening. So finally, hours later, they finally do a scan after like 5 hours, and I am not exaggerating. They finally do a scan, and now I gotta wait for the results of the scan. So when I go do the scan, I don't want to bash it, because I'm not even gonna mention that, because this happens all the time in healthcare, but I'm not even gonna mention that point. So yeah, they finally do a scan, and I'm waiting for the results with no pain management. Like, I'm waiting. Nothing's happening. So I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go home. The only reason why I literally kept waiting was so I could have something for my pain, so I could function, because whatever I took at home it clearly didn't do anything. So finally I decide, you know what, I've been here, it's almost 7 o'clock, and I've been here all day. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm in pain. I'm just gonna go home and say forget all of this, right? Forget it. I'm gonna go home, get some ibuprofen, because I figured ibuprofen would work better for this specific thing. And I said I'm gonna go home, get some ibuprofen, and call it a day, and see if that works. And if that doesn't work, I literally don't know what I'm gonna do, because I literally went to a doctor who didn't do anything, and went to the hospital and got nothing done. I was hopeless. So I decide I'm gonna go home, get some ibuprofen, and see if I can manage it my freaking self, which is ridiculous, right? So I go in my car and I call the doctor's office, and I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm still here. Actually, at this one, it's like almost 5. Yeah, almost 5. I'm like, I'm still here. All they've done is taken my vitals. I just got scanned. I've been here all day. I'm not getting no answers. I'm not getting no pain management. I'm not getting anything. And so I'm just gonna leave. So I tell the people at the office, and they're like, wait, don't leave. The NP at the emergency room just called our doctor and give them, you know, the explanation. And so I'm like, okay, what is going on? Are you guys, you know, I'm ready to leave. I'm literally in my car. I'm about to leave, because I don't care about being discharged, and I'm not even going to wait for anything else. All I need is for you to prescribe me something for my pain. The entire reason why I came in the first place. I need you to give me something for my pain, because I literally cannot go home with nothing for the pain that I came in for in the first place. So he's like, wait, just wait. They're gonna prescribe you something. Just wait. I go back to wait until finally they came back with my result, telling me, oh, this is what's going on. They literally told me, you have the exact same thing I told them, and I came in and told them I had. It's like, well, no shit. I came and told you this is exactly what I have. I just want to know what's wrong now. And get this. That well, we're gonna discharge you with some ibuprofen. Yo, like literally the healthcare system here is so incompetent. I'm not talking about the providers specifically, but a lot of the providers are part of the healthcare system, and they are incompetent. This didn't even have to escalate to the point where I had to go to the emergency room if you had addressed my pain, which is what I came in for in the first place. I didn't have to go to the emergency room for me to find out that I have the same thing that I told them I came in with in the first place. I did not have to go and waste an entire day of my life and waste my time and be in pain, only to, you know, be prescribed the same thing I was planning on getting in the first place. This is why people die. People are afraid to go to the emergency room because they cannot afford it. So I got home, and you know, a couple weeks later, I'm getting a bill for $17,000. $17,000. $3,000 is what? $3,000 is for using the emergency room. $11,000 for the scan, and something else, you know, adding up to $17,000. This is ridiculous. These procedures should not cost this much. And I've had the same scan, the same procedure, because that's how I found out about my condition in the first place, was by going to the ER. And even though it was expensive, it was like, what was it? Maybe like $5,000. You're telling me like this is more than 3 times what it was, just because I'm in a different state? $5,000 is not even worth that amount. That should not be the price for going to the emergency room. You're charging me $3,000 for sharing a room with about 20 other people and just sitting there not being addressed for using the emergency room. The healthcare system over here, and it's really sad that everything is rooted in capitalism, where it's literally profit over people, and people literally die because they're too afraid to go to the emergency room because they can't afford it. Or when they do go to the emergency room, they're all filled up with debt, D-E-B-T. They're all filled up with debt that they cannot even live a normal life. It ruins their credit, and credit is everything in this country. To get a car, to get a house, to go to school, everything is on credit. So basically, you are hindering my livelihood by something that shouldn't even have cost the same thing in the first place. Different procedures, their prices completely differ based on the area you're in, because the system is so unregulated, and people are allowed, these hospitals are privately owned, and people are allowed to charge as much as they see fit as long as they can get away with it. This is sad. It's pathetic, and a sad reminder that people literally do not have to die. Their diseases can be addressed way before it escalates to the point of no return. People don't have to suffer at home because they're afraid that they won't be able to afford the bill. People don't have to be drowning in debt from going to hospital for having diseases that could have been prevented by going to the hospital in the first place. And to charge me $17,000 for is ridiculous. And then they're like, well, we don't have your insurance on file. When they get my insurance on file, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna take off $15,000. What if that person does not have, what if I didn't have insurance? And even then, $17,000 is still ridiculous. Even if I'm only getting $1,000 part of the bill, at $1,200 something, it's still a lot of money. Where am I supposed to come up with this money? Out my ass? This, I'm just so disgusted. And it's, and then, oh, let's not forget, on top of that, I got a bill from the OB, $500 something. I would love to say something's going to change, things are going to get better, but it's not. We live in a society that reinforces the idea of inflation, of, making as much as you can. Guess who they make it from? The everyday people. The rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer. And that's us. We suffer the consequences. We literally suffer the consequences. It's pathetic. And as a healthcare provider, we do not know as healthcare providers, we are not involved in the pricing portion of the healthcare system. We are there literally to just perform our jobs, perform the procedures, take care of a patient, give care to our patients. So that whole other part, when we're being taught, to teach patients, let's, for example, if someone has diabetes, about, dietary plan, we're saying, yeah, you should eat this, you should eat that, take your medications, this is how often. We do not, are not taught, hey, this is how much it costs to eat healthy. This is how much it costs to pay for these medications. This is how much it costs to manage. And we're supposed to think that this is a perfect world and people have access to everything. And even when they do, there are programs in place to help them. There aren't. People don't have the same education levels. They truly, until I became a nurse, I never truly realized how much people did not know about their diseases, how much people did not know how much their lives were in danger, how much people did not understand what was happening to them, and how to truly be careful. I believe people do want to live longer. People do want to be as healthy as possible. It's just the comprehension of disease progression, disease patterns, and people truly don't understand it. People really don't understand their diseases. Even if we do patient education, there's only so much that they can comprehend, because we spend years learning about these things and they do not. We're only relaying, the most important part on how to. But I feel like people truly don't understand the significance of just how to manage it, just from what I've seen with what patients with specific diseases do, and knowing that it could potentially have an impact on their health and make it worse. They continue that behavior because they truly don't understand. So we are taught, as healthcare providers, to teach people this, encourage that, blah blah blah, but the reality is people have different realities. They can't afford such things, they cannot do such things. People, it's sad. It's sad, it's pathetic, and $17,000 for an ER visit is more than ridiculous, and I really don't know what to say. Anyway, you guys, share your story time if you've ever had an experience like that. Your ER experiences, your personal experiences with your pain not being managed, your personal experiences with your issue not being excuse me, with your issue not being addressed, your personal experiences with, just the healthcare system as a whole or capitalism as a whole. I really want to hear you guys' thoughts, so please share it with me. Thank you so much for watching. Sandra said what. I'll see you later. Make sure you hit that like button or dislike button if you disagree with me or don't like this video, and just be sure to share it and spread the word. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.